Flagged. Brought to you by us, fans like you, but mostly us.
What it is, I'm just a fan of romance. Can I ask you a question? She looked like that before you rode her cross country?
You little midget.
See, I always wondered. All these butt-faced human pieces of garbage out there walking the earth. Who's making them? I mean, what kind of Frankenstein monsters are out there copulating to create all these hunks of shit people in the world? Then I come in this bar, here's you two. Give me the answer I've been looking for my whole life.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, MSK, Yo Peace, and Omega.
I'm host Omega.
MSK.
Yo, peace.
And we're back. And we're going to do this. I guess we can kind of just start off while we're still in the vibe. And I know Yo Peace and I have seen it. We won't reveal much about it, but it has to do with the topic of what I left the last message about, which was the passing of our dear Stan the Man Lee. And Excelsior Day passed, which was his birthday, which I asked to do, and they've done a few things. They did I know Kevin Smith did a thing in California. It was a whole big thing in the Chinese theater. Yeah. Where they
I hope that we can, hopefully we can do a little bit more as fans. And that's a great idea of doing his day on his actual birthday, and just having a little holiday, getting our days off or getting extra pay.
Yeah.
But
it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome to get a day. It'd be awesome to get a day off for that.
Getting paid extra.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
Getting paid for Stanley.
Can we be a religion? We just say like nerding, the Church of Nerdism, and Stan Lee Day is the most holy day of our nerdism, and therefore it's a religious holiday, and we need the day for silence.
I'm sure somewhere that's a thing. Somewhere.
I mean,
we can make it a thing. I'm sure there's a way. We don't even need a tax exempt. We just want the day off. That's all we want.
The day off.
The day off
we
will
just
be
want the day off.
Yeah,
a great accomplishment.
A day off would be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to. I think as the years pass, it will happen more and more. He's an icon, and it's hard because and I was thinking about that, because Kevin Smith was a big fan of his, and a lot he said a lot of great things and did a lot of Instagramming and tweeting things and stuff like that. He put a lot of my more favorite things that I read about Stan after his passing. And if you think about it, I mean, he's way more rounded. The new Stan Lee, the closest that will be to him in about 20 to 30 years when he gets older, and like I said, he's more rounded, I think would be Kevin Smith. If you really think about it.
Yeah. Especially in the nerd culture, he's definitely
exactly. I think
guy.
all the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are now watching Clerks and now watching the things that he has his fingerprint on, listening to his podcast, reading the things that he says, and and again, he's just more rounded. But that's the guy I think we see as the older icon.
Hope that's not a fat joke, man. He lost a lot of weight
For the nerdverse. No, he's thin, man. He's after the heart attack. That guy took it serious, which is good because we're gonna want him around for a while because he's. I honestly was thinking about that, like who's gonna be the closest thing to the next Stan Lee? Because I mean, there's plenty of elder comic book writers and artists, and we see him at all the cons.
Yeah, but no one has really
persona.
put themselves out there as much as he has.
Exactly. Yeah, and that have the presence that he has. You know what I mean? He's Stan. He's Stan Lee, and that's why I think the closest to that is Kevin Smith. And in fairness, he learned a lot from Stan Lee. So I think that he's probably gonna end up taking that mantle later on. In his lifetime.
I hope he's kind enough when we tag him in this episode. That'd be great.
Do it. But yeah, he's incredible, and that can open into some of the catch up. Something pretty recent. was Captain Marvel. MSK hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Right.
Piece,
Yeah,
piece of myself
has
have.
not. He has
And not giving too much away, they have a great Stan Lee cameo, of course. It was to be expected. It's a first of something, so when you see it, you'll be impressed.
Yeah.
And both times I saw it, there was a cheering theater when they do it. So it's something different, and it's definitely worth seeing. It's a great homage to him, and that's it really it was fitting. Captain Marvel, Marvel Comics,
Yeah.
and it works. It's
And what you think about it, Yopis? What did you think about it?
I enjoy the movie massively. I didn't think that not that I didn't think I was gonna like it. The trailers really don't really
Yeah,
didn't really do it for
it
me.
didn't sell. It didn't sell. Yeah,
No, at all, and it was on purpose. And also, the movie is slower than I think a lot of the other Marvels, but it's not. It just works. It works for the time. It works for the character. It works for the surrounding actors. Everything around about it. It works for it, and it's a reason why they didn't give away a lot of things. Is because really they really didn't have much to put out there, and I think that's what it really came down to.
Yeah, it was actually I agree with that. They did a lot of the scenes you've seen in the trailers. Those big superhero moments, where the teleport, not teleporting, but the elevating, like the flying in a certain pose, and those actually weren't very big, overly focused scenes when you watch the film as a whole, which is good because, like he's saying, a lot of the action sequences you really don't see any of it in the trailer. So, but in fairness, the action it's not no Winter Soldier. I mean, I personally, I think it's in the top half of MCU films. It's not in the bottom half, but it's in the top half. I mean, we're talking about
there's still
20,
there's still
three
a lot more
films
movies
now.
better than-
So we're talking about top 15, top 16. So it's it's not a Winter Soldier. It's not an Infinity War. It's not a lot of the other movies. But it's up there. It's in the better half.
No, and
it works.
I'm glad
and
that
it
you
works.
guys liked it
It's
because
really
the marketing for it did not. It felt weird. It felt off than every other marketing strategy from any other MCU movie. It felt like a DC movie, to be honest. Like the way they marketed it, it felt like a one-off superhero movie. It didn't feel like it was part of I know you see Samuel L. Jackson and you see the connection in it, but it didn't feel like it was connected to anything else.
That's part of the issue too. Everyone's a little spoiled for the past 2 years now, because even Black Panther is not really an origin film because he first becomes Black Panther in Civil War.
Right.
So it was a continuation. I think the last origin movie we had, and we're looking about over 2 years ago, was Doctor Strange. That it was kind of a standalone without a really serious connection. And then she's jumping back. This film takes place in 1995, so it's a complete prequel. It explains some things that are pretty. Some of them are pretty neat. Some of them are pretty funny. You have to see it for yourself. I always let everyone know. We sat through it. There is a mid-credit scene, which is very relevant. To the overall story in the MCU, and then there's a post-credit scene that's a little humorous. So it definitely keep your butt in the chair,
I don't understand people that just walk out anymore out of theaters. Like even if you've seen it, why aren't you staying? Like what's happening?
We were complaining out loud. I saw it for the second time with Yopis, and in that theater, literally half the theater got up at the beginning credits, not even to the mid-credit scene. They started getting up and leaving, not even before mid-credit scene.
That's crazy.
And I was even saying out loud, I'm like, poser Marvel fans. Yeah. These are poser Marvel fans.
Maybe it's their fifth viewing. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just tired of seeing it.
It's crazy, man.
It's possible.
It's crazy, the way people still react that way.
Dude, I stay in my seat for movies that I know don't have an ending at the end of the
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they did more. That's the one thing about Marvel. They weren't the first to do it. Where everyone knows that the most iconic, and even then, I don't believe Ferris Bueller was the first to do it either. But it's the most iconic.
The most iconic Street
time
Fighter.
that it was
done. Yes, he got it. You got it.
I'm talking about the first iconic. Yeah, that one's like. Jesus. I mean, Jesus. That was. That's horrible. But I mean, the first iconic pop culture recognized post-credit scene, and then they kind of started getting sprinkled here and there. He-Man, I don't know if you guys remember that. I was like eight years old myself, and you're one of you. Yeah, you're probably 4, so you probably don't. But I remember seeing that same thing by mistake, just the same way I saw the Pirates of the Caribbean one, which is like after it was in the theaters, saw it on TV, and just sitting there, and you're too lazy to get up and change the channel or whatever the case is, and also like, oh wait,
I didn't even know there was one for Constantine like Marvel, until a year ago.
Yeah, I remember that one.
that one. Yeah, I know. That was a bad one because that's a good one. That's a good one too. Yeah. And so Marvel has made it iconic. I mean, not iconic, but a staple. Like now, if you are a pop culture, nerd, universe film, you kind of have to now. You know what I mean? It's like it's so expected. We're even seeing it in television shows are doing it now too, and where they do like a little quick something, at the end of the credits, and so it's just spreading everywhere. And I think Marvel's really is responsible for just making it a consistent staple. And I even say, before I get into it, but I'll just mention that Shazam, DC. Same thing. They have a mid-credit and a post-credit. So so even for DC now, keep your butt in the chair because you're going to see something. It's not always the best payoff, but when you're big movie buffs like we are, and I know most of the people we associate with and that might actually be listening to this are
our wives.
You owe it to yourself. It's like getting a. Your wife, my wife does not listen.
Wow. Okay, moving on.
Wow. Throwing her under the bus. Right.
But she stays for post credits. She stays for post credits. Thanks for listening. So, but yeah, Captain Marvel it's definitely it's a must see. It's Marvel, automatically, a must see, and it's still.
So what do you think about the other Captain Marvel, which they're not calling Captain Marvel?
Isn't that pretty funny? And I'm actually, I'm gonna try and keep this down to like 3 minutes, because I'm not gonna no spoilers or nothing. But I'm just gonna point out a lot of little DC things, and then I'll let Yopis take it away on Aquaman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Finished seeing it. One of the things is like it was. I don't know what their plan was with Shazam, but it's a freaking Christmas movie. The whole movie is to even the flashbacks take place during Christmas.
Why didn't they release it during Christmas then?
Exactly. So I think one or two things happened, and that's a negative too. It got pushed back from December to March, so that's not a good thing. And then there's other little things, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there is such a cop-out cameo. It is insulting to fans. Like they should have just not done the scene, or done something else. But there is such a cop-out cameo in this movie, and when you see it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But I think that was also a problem and so many things could have been resolved. They should have if they would have just pushed it, and not even just the one thing they ought to do, push it then to next December. In other words, this December 2019. Fix the cameo situation. There's a couple, and DC's been doing that because even Aquaman had a couple scenes that I saw, a couple little CGI things, a couple there's some post editing stuff that I think also could resolve with time, and it would have felt more right being.
So what you're saying is you didn't like the movie?
Christmas season. No. I'll be honest. I like the film. It's a good.
You can't end it with I like the film with all of
no. I'll tell you the quick positive.
You might as well just say, okay, you just don't watch the movie, guys. All right, next movie.
Watch it. It's.
So Yopis, what do you think about Aquaman?
Marvel, Shazam. So, I think I'm going to enjoy the movie, regardless of them not pushing it back. I think the kids are going to enjoy it more, and it might have what it looks like to me. The story's going to be better.
Yeah, it's a kids movie.
Saw. In oh my god, what happened in Aquaman?
I haven't seen that one either, man.
I know. But let me tell you.
Tell me about Aquaman,
because CGI is gonna get you from the start, bro. Like, there's no way of going around that. It's just one of those things that they could have taken a little bit of more time. Fix it. Like, that's it. Just take your time. I don't need an Aquaman movie right away. I don't need it. Just because you're introducing him, just because he was introduced in Justice League or whatever. Like, I don't need it. Don't need it right away. Just take your time with these things, man.
Yeah.
It sucks that you say that about the CGI, because that's the only thing. Like, Jason Momoa is not the best actor, so he wasn't selling me too much. Like, he looks cool. He looks like a cool Aquaman. But acting-wise, it's Jason Momoa. So So the CGI, like I really wanted the world
Sorry.
building of that movie to
I'm
look
sorry.
like legit.
It's not.
And now that you're telling me it's not,
and
it's kind of
it's
disappointing.
hard for me as a
Yeah.
viewer, and I'm not even trying to compare right now DC to Marvel. We all know that Marvel's got the studios, got the money, all these things. I get it. I get all that. I'm fine with it. But take your time. Don't rush these things, man. Like, you got the actor already. You don't need to rush these things. It's just not worth it anymore, man. Like, they're just not trying anymore. I feel like DC is just like, they're just not trying anymore when it comes to live action movies. You know,
They're hit or miss.
The
I
other
mean,
world, it's something else.
they're hit or miss. It's either, I mean, Aquaman's worth watching. That one's worth watching in theaters because there is some bad CGI, but there's some really good CGI, and there's some good moments. Overall, it's it's Suicide Squad. It's not Wonder Woman. It's not as good as Wonder Woman. It's not as good as Man of Steel. But it's not as bad as Batman v Superman. It's not as bad. It's better than Justice League because Justice League was very disappointing. Justice League has a different problem.
Okay, here's the thing.
So it's better than Justice
potential. It has potential to be a better movie.
Yeah.
Yes. The story is just all over. It's really all over. Like it's just, I mean, music, everything. It's just all over the place. Like, they have no view of anything. Like, it's just like, man, I was sitting there and I had to get up a couple of times and do other things. Just put it that way. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, it was like, I'm disappointed. I'm actually disappointed. And I love DC, man. I want DC to succeed. I want them to do better. I love the characters. I mean, not Aquaman.
To give some, so we don't end the DC conversation like we normally do on bad notes. I will say I recently listened to some catch up early last year, but I've really gotten into it now. Two things I'll bring up that DC has good from this year. One from this year first, actually, is Reign of the Superman, which is the sequel follow-up to Death of Superman that they did last year, animated film. DC's, their animated is great. Their animation department, if they would let them write and head and run their live-action department, they would be a completely different animal.
Yeah, so pretty much what you're saying is that's where DC should be on the live action.
Yes,
that's exactly what you're telling me.
Exactly,
because we all know
we
grew up with these things. We read these things. We read these stories.
Yep.
We know what they are.
Yep.
We don't need like happy little DC. We know where you come from.
Yeah, especially
bring it.
The boom, the big boom of, let's start making movies of this, let's start making shows of this, let's start making animation of this, was actually late 80s, early 90s, when like the McFarlanes and Kevin Smith and all Lee and all these guys started drawing it darker, and then the writers started writing it darker, and that is the main fan base now is the DC fan that likes the dark Batman. Batman the animated series, you watch it as an adult, man, does that hold up? You know what I mean? Actually, you rewatch it as an adult, is a must do.
The best series.
Because
the best cartoon
the storyline is
ever.
like, wow, I couldn't really fully understand this when I was a kid, and watching it now, you're like, it's not made for kids. It really is.
No,
they keep it clean. No. Yeah, they do keep it clean for kids, but it's not made for kids. That storyline is deep, and that's the fan base that they have now. So they really need to stick to that. And here's some other good news, especially for you guys. Arrow's over after next season. Yay!
Woo! Yes.
Arrow was
now,
over like 7
some
years
more
ago.
catch up.
Wow.
Here's the sad one. Supernatural is done next season also. So that's the heartbreak.
Talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know how you. Well, that's great news for me because then I could actually watch it
right after you watch Misfits.
And watch what is that? I don't even know what that is. And watch the whole like series. I could watch all how many seasons? 43.
What 43? 43. It might as well be. Everyone really thought they were going to go on to that point, but I guess they just I'm not caught up.
I'm sure they got tired, man. As an actor doing the same characters every year.
Yeah, I'm a season behind. But they, for the most part, have had the same main characters for quite some time, and they interchange certain things in the storyline, and the actors have all given chances to show some range and change it up a bit. But
I wonder how the ratings are for that show since it's been on, for like 15, 16 years,
it's the
right?
same group, pretty much for the most part. Once they calculate in the binge watching from Netflix and the recorded audience and all that, I think they locked in an audience. I'm gonna compare it to that. You guys weren't into that, Yo Peace's wife was, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, those weren't shows also that the ratings went. Oh, they just locked in. They locked in. They had their group. That group's not going nowhere. That might be why they're canceling it, because I think that even with the binge, because that's what's making a lot of shows better, is a lot of shows are airing, they do all right, but then when they re-release into a streaming service, they blow up. Because a lot of people do that now. They hold out, so they're like, we got to make more seasons, and I think that's what's been happening to them. I think they're not getting new audiences right now. I think they will, maybe 10 years from now. I
mean, it's rough though, because it's 15 years, man, to get a new audience, like to catch up on that. It's
that's hard. And then each season is, it's classic CW style, 22, 23 episodes a season. Yeah, so when someone looks at that, like, oh, I'm not committing to
every
this.
Network.
It's hard, and especially now.
I just hope they end with a bang. That's it. Just go out. Like, bring everything you can bring into this, and just leave on a good note.
I watched the last episode to see if it's good.
Or you do like I did with 24 when they do a prequel season. Just watch that.
Yeah, that's funny.
How is The Walking Dead right now? If anyone's still if you're watching that, how is that going?
Okay, I'm gonna throw a spoiler out there because I know the two of you don't care. So you might want to jump 10 seconds after I say this. So I'm saying this for the worthiness of the other two hosts. So again, spoiler alert. Here we go. Walking Dead. Rick Grimes is dead, but isn't.
Wow.
That's all I gotta say.
No, he's not dead. I've read production things about he's not dead.
Well, that's why I say, but isn't.
He's not dead. They probably think he's dead.
It's such a cop out. It's such a cop out. It's medicine.
Do you care? I don't care.
Yeah, no, we call it medicine. Spoiler.
I'm already done with this conversation. All right. So what other shows have you been watching?
Did they find the cure? Did they find the cure?
Of course not. They're not finding. No, cure's not happening. They've done massive time jumps though. That that's not really a spoiler. I can just say that they've been doing massive time jumps, and they just say it's a mess. You know what I mean? Like there's been the last couple episodes have been really good. The most recent episodes.
Yeah, no. You're spending way too much time on this show that no one's watching. That's rough. It.
Well, Punisher, that came to an end, unfortunately, because of the Netflix, Disney.
Everything came to an end. Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yopis, what did you think about that? Yopis and his wife had a good time watching that show.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Punisher.
I actually haven't heard what you thought about the last episode
so
yet.
You know what? I enjoyed the last episode.
Because it was over.
Yeah.
No, not only because it was over, it's because it actually
was good.
Did things that I was like, got rid of things and just closed it out for me. So I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Like it's about time.
I enjoyed that part.
I just didn't like the last scene.
They flawed a character. They flawed who was a great character season 1. They made some flaws.
Yes.
They're pretty bad for the second season that upset a lot of his fans.
I need you to say it. I need you to say it. Say who it is.
No, I'll say it. But Buzzsaw's not a buzzsaw, man. This is it. But Buzzsaw has just very light cosmetic surgery is all he needs to correct his situation.
Who?
Huh?
Who's Buzzsaw?
Oh, Jigsaw.
Who's
sorry.
Buzzsaw?
Wait, is it Buzzsaw or Jigsaw? Jigsaw.
No, it's Jigsaw.
Yeah.
I don't know who Buzzsaw is. It's Jigsaw. No, man. His face. Listen, my 5-year-old kid has scratched my face up more
horrible
than that. Like Frank Castle during the show during this season has gotten his face more messed up than Jigsaw, which is stupid.
Yes. Frank Castle's more damaged.
So
facially.
Do we call him Jigsaw then? Do we call him Punisher and Jigsaw at the same time?
Yeah, no, we call him Buzzsaw.
Seriously. Yeah. They made him Vega. They made him Vega from Street Fighter. From Street Fighter 2. That's what they made him.
That is
so stupid.
Bad.
No,
they
destroyed his character. His character was awesome in the first season. Awesome. And then they brought him back.
Listen.
And the first introduction of him already wearing the mask, which was stupid, it just threw me off.
His face is covered like the Joker. He's covered. The whole thing. It's just cover up like with all these bandages, all these wraps, and he takes it off. He takes it off.
It's horrible.
And it's like 3 scars.
I know, and it's one little scar.
3 scars.
Dude, Tyrion in Game of Thrones looks worse.
It's feeling like he's the ugliest man on Earth. Like, dude, get out of here, bro. Get out of
I
my
know.
face with those three.
So vain.
Put some Neosporin
So
on it. How
vain.
about that? Watch how fast that will close up.
That will heal like in 2 more months, and that's it. He'll be okay.
Yeah,
He'll be okay.
that was bad. That was bad.
Jeez. Yeah.
No, it was, but the action sequences again, some great ones.
Yeah. So
Great.
Yeah. So Frank was
Yes.
amazing. That guy, that actor, that character. They wrote him. His writing, like for him, amazing. Now here's the other problem. I don't care about everybody else on that show.
No,
No, everyone could have just died.
all the other
seriously.
characters
I
are
didn't
weak.
care about anyone.
don't
It was very weak. All the other characters, with the exception of one protagonist, Pilgrim, I think it is. That guy, I thought he was pretty cool, and he had some great action moments that were wild. There's a scene with him in a bar with a crew, and it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And
All the
and
action scenes are good. All the action scenes are still legit. Are well
Yeah,
done.
the actions were good, but I just didn't feel it, bro. It was so much going on that show surrounding characters, stories that I didn't care about.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even concentrate on the villain myself.
Yeah. The problem with Pilgrim was that himself wasn't a bad character. It's just all his motives and the story why he's even there. It was kind of stupid.
Yeah,
it
his
was
background, and I think it wasn't just him. I think that in general, all the characters, it felt like they would have been good for an episode, not the whole arc. You know, and that's really what it was overall feeling like the whole season. That like all the other characters outside of who's supposed to be the main villain that we already said they didn't do a good job with. They just really felt like maybe 2-3 episodes, you know, and then finish that storyline would have been the better way to go. And you know that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here to hate on it.
No, I
Some
enjoyed
people
it. I
loved
personally enjoyed it.
Some people hated it. Like it's a split situation. I personally did not enjoy it, and I thought they went down with the writing. I thought they went down as far as from what we got in the first season.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's just one of those things.
Well,
like,
I'll say this
for
straight
me-
up: it was better than Luke Cage season 2. It was better than Jessica Jones
Yes.
season 2. It was better.
it's better
Oh
than
my
Jessica
God.
Yeah,
Jones.
better than
season
Iron
Yes.
Fist season 2.
1 and 2, but only 1 because of the character.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
villain.
If it wasn't for the villain, even Jessica Jones season 1 would have been great.
Yeah.
Better than Iron Fist season 2, and definitely better than the hot mess that was the Defenders. You know, but by far,
Yeah.
Well, what's the Defenders?
yeah, I know. 3 for 3, Daredevil season 1, season 2, and season 3. 3 for 3.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 for 3.
Even though the writing you can tell
Yeah.
went down,
It took.
It's still
It
the
had a hiccup,
best
and you
show
could tell
on-
the
of
hiccup,
those.
especially by the end, is that they were wrapping up a season, not expecting to wrap it.
They
up.
were wrapping up.
You know what I mean?
They were
Yep.
rushing it.
And that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I think they did a great job. They brought in some great characters, and there's just some great interaction. You know, Kingpin's back, and he's just that's a great actor playing a great character, great interaction. You know, Daredevil himself, it just they his situation coming back into this. If you saw the Defenders, you know how he ended up there and how he's working his way back into things, and it was good. It was the strongest one yet.
Yeah.
All the other ones are now canceled, so it pretty much Daredevil's the one that walked, and it was the first one, the first and the last, the only one that got 3 seasons, the only one that deserved it. And it's sad that we might see all those shows again, but maybe not in the same way, maybe not with the same actors, and definitely probably not going to be on the same
that's the
platform.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man, because they're pushing hard. They're pushing hard to save it.
Still jumping into the superhero realm, gotta say this, it's pretty much a necessity. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, wow.
Yes.
It got an Academy Award
Yes.
for a reason. And,
Wait. MSK, did you see it?
No, I haven't seen that yet either.
Boy.
MSK has a lot of homework. He has a lot of homework.
Oh boy. Yeah. Hey man.
Catch-up episode
Hey,
is
let
not.
me tell you.
It's mainly for me.
It's hands down.
Yeah.
A great movie, hands down.
Yep.
And it's a
Yeah. No, I heard it's like one of the best animations.
It's in my
ever,
top.
which
It's in my
is
top 5
insane,
for
but-
sure of animated films. It's definitely in my top 5. It's so it's unique. It is very unique from the soundtrack to the visuals, all the different visuals, to the colors, to and then on top of that,
To the story.
and a lot darker than I was expecting
Wow.
it to be. A lot of adult like storyline, content. Again, safe, no
Yep.
bad cursing or anything like that. But just overall, it tells a pretty incredible story, and just I'm so looking forward to sequels. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
I really am.
Yeah, it's gonna get one. They're already working on a
should be.
sequel for it, so
They should be. I mean, it
definitely gonna get
opened up the whole concept of alternate universes and alternate realities. Is
Whoa.
Anybody watching the trailer gets that. It's the Spider-Verse, so that's not a
sir.
giveaway.
one. Yeah, but
Wait,
you know where you're gonna lead after that. Who knows where you're gonna go with that?
Slow
Who
down.
knows? So let's
No,
just slow down.
I'm
down.
just saying, there's so much you can do with that they can
Yeah.
easily make so many sequels,
Including spoilers.
bring in so many new characters, have so many different storylines that work. That for that. I mean, and they can even spin off and not even have to specifically do the main character Miles Morales. They can actually
No, they have to
move on.
No,
I mean,
they
I
have
prefer it because he's awesome. He makes.
they have
I mean, he is the main character for a reason in that film, and some great acting, unexpected acting. That you're like, when I saw the trailers and some IMDb information, and I saw certain people voicing certain characters, I'm like, this is not going to be good. Like, I'm not going to be able to enjoy this. And when you watch the film and you see the storyline, you get it. You know why certain people were casted, and it works so perfectly.
Yep.
It's like just genius. So, but yeah, that's a definite. And catching up, Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse
catch that.
was pretty good.
That just came out.
On
Right? That
DVD,
came out
yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's
on
already
Blu-ray.
out.
Yeah, it
It's
just
already
came
out.
So
Yeah, I gotta
it's
check it.
available to
I
you.
gotta check it.
It's available to you. So
Speaking of available to you, just want to throw out where people can reach us.
do it.
You guys ready?
Yep. Oh, I'm on
Alright.
pins and needles for this one today.
Okay,
can't wait.
so just want to let everybody know that you can listen to us on Fanatically Correct and rate us specifically on iTunes and Podbean. Use Google Play Music or Google Podcasts or any pod, or just ask any of your smart home speakers, displays like Google Home, Alexa, or Echo to play your Fanatically Correct, just for you. You can also follow us on our social media websites using the @handle at FanCorrect for Twitter and Instagram, or just search for Fanatically Correct on Facebook and the new website, which is called MeWe, because Google Plus is done. Guys, Google Plus
Wait,
is done.
Wait.
Google Plus is no.
We are
longer.
leaving Google Plus on April 2nd. No more Google Plus, guys.
No, we're not leaving Google Plus. Google Plus is leaving us and everyone else. on April 2nd.
Either way, it's a sad day for me.
Yes.
Just want to let everybody know, but no more Google Plus. But we're on a new website called MeWe, and you can follow us there.
Google, if you're listening, reward Yo Piece. He tried.
Yep.
He really tried.
I did.
He's a huge
I
fan.
did. I put you.
tried hard,
I put
man.
you bastards on this every single time. Every 4 episodes, only 4 episodes that we got.
Yeah.
I put you in there.
And then
So
and don't forget, did you mention the Google number? Speaking of Google.
our websites. Let's just go back into this whole thing. Our website is fanaticallycorrect.com. That would take you straight to our Podbean website where you can listen to all of our present and past episodes. And last but not least, you can always email us at contactfancor@gmail.com. That's contactfancor@gmail.com. And once again, you can just call us. Yes, that's right. You can call us at 786-704-8404 and leave us a voicemail. Talk to us, give us a request, call us a haters. I don't care what you do, but just do something. Do something with that number.
We've had a couple of wrong. We've had a couple of wrong numbers.
I want
Pretty funny.
I want to give a shout out to that person that gave us the actual call the other day. It was pretty funny.
The wrong number.
That's about it. That's where you can find us.
I don't know, man. It's been a while since we've recorded, so there's a lot of things out there we can just jump into, throw out.
Yeah.
But there's one that it just kind of like.
Wait,
I mean,
we
go ahead.
kind of missed Black Mirror, man.
Yes. Oh, go into it. What is it?
Bandersnatch. Yeah.
What you think about it, MSK?
I thought it was pretty innovative, getting the character to do different things. They give him different scenarios. You got to kind of take him toward the path of making a choice, and it's interesting what they did. I don't know if you guys got all the endings because there's multiple endings.
I think I caught like 3. I think I
There's
caught like
like
3 endings myself.
I don't know, man. I think I caught like maybe 4.
I think
4 or 5.
I think
actually.
I got 4 also. It's based on, and I don't know if that's a made up book or a real book. The Choose Your Own Adventure, I think is what they were called, where you basically choose the path, like you were saying.
It's very popular in the 80s.
And which the film has a huge 80s. It has a huge 80s vibe to it, like with the music and it does have that. And that's just like he said, it's very innovative that we haven't seen something like that in a while. And I think Netflix pulled it off very well.
Yeah, I spent a couple of hours trying to get all the endings. I don't know how many hours you guys
I spent an entire 5-hour flight watching it.
Oh wow!
The entire flight, just trying to get all the little different. It's fun. It's on a flight anyways. You're bored flying on an airplane, and it was fun to try to get.
You were not flying, right?
No, I was of course not.
Okay.
Even though autopilot's incredible. They got that covered.
No, but that show was pretty good. I mean, I like the way they gave like different scenarios to the kid. What's that blonde kid's name?
Yeah, the one that he
though.
was in the Maze Runner, the first one.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Yeah, he did steal the show, man. He
did. His character's the best
Yeah,
character.
man, he played this weird guy.
Yeah, his character's the best character in that. And I don't know. I mean, I felt a little bit like wanting for more. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I still just haven't seen everything there is to see. But I feel like there could have been a little bit more, I don't know, explanation. I don't know how to say, like, just something to fulfill more. I still feel like I had questions.
Yeah.
After seeing,
Yeah. Well, you gotta. I mean, it's the first time they tried something like that, so you got to give it to them there. Like, they're gonna lose some sort of storyline doing something like this because they're adding so much content to it.
And the thing is, because I felt like for Black Mirror specifically, it was a very different theme. Because overall, they kind of have the same theme where technology bad. And this did overall have that, but it had more of almost a Twilight Zone vibe, where it gets into other things outside of technology bad. Almost like that's where this felt different, and that's where I meant like I have questions still, like what happened here or what happened here, and before you can answer that one, you've kind of spun off into another direction, into another ending.
Are you sure you got all the endings though? Did you get the main ending?
I got the main ending on the first try, which I guess would be the happy-ish ending. I would call it.
Sure.
I don't really feel any endings were happy, but happy-ish.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's the happiest.
But that's the Black Mirror theme. You're not gonna get really. I think I can name 3 episodes total out of all of them that have happy endings. One that I could say definitely has a happy ending that.
I could just name one.
Yeah, there's one that I always recommend to people. That I actually recommend people to start with that, which is sad because it's one of the more recent episodes. But I always actually recommend, start with that and then start getting into the dark. Because let yourself get into like their twist and their turns and their style and their theme.
You guys are better than me. I don't tell people anything. I just tell them watch it. If you don't like it,
I'm a disturbed person. I started from the beginning.
The problem is,
but that's
not
for everyone.
That's how you should start from the beginning.
Yeah. No, usually when people just start from the first episode, they don't watch the rest.
Good. Then they don't deserve to watch the show.
I guess they don't.
The Star Trek one's a good one to start with. Also, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
that one's good. I mean, that one's pretty dark in a way too. But yeah, that one's good.
No, yeah, it's very dark, but it's got a lot of humor to it.
The problem with the Star Trek episode is the previous episodes that kind of tied into it. Like there's something that happens that's already that happened before, and you're not gonna get it. Like it's better if you go back and you actually understand that.
Yeah, it is. It is an anthology. You're right, because it is like Outer Limits was kind of like that, where Twilight Zone's 100%. They didn't really ever refer one episode to the other or Easter eggs or anything like that. Where Outer Limits, at least the more recent Outer Limits, which is still like 20 years old already, but they did that a lot. They Easter egged a lot of other episodes and even would bring back some characters from other episodes, even though it's a different storyline. That character's still the same character, saying that all these stories do exist in the same universe. Where Twilight Zone was each individual anthology, didn't get into that, and
Right.
a lot of the anthology shows don't bother with that. Where Black Mirror, yes, not all the storylines are in the same universe, but there is quite a few that are. And so there's a lot of Easter eggs from previous episodes that make an episode more interesting when you know the
That
episodes
technology,
that came before.
yeah,
Right.
like the technology that is
Yeah.
being used or whatnot.
Yes.
And again, this
specific
is
technology and
again that the Black Mirror Bandersnatch. It's really not a Black Mirror
It's
season.
different. It's a little different.
It's not a real
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Mirror season. So whoever watches that from the get go, it's just gonna be, I don't know. If they love it, they're gonna expect that more from the other ones, and they're not gonna get it. So I suggest you go to the beginning of the seasons and just watch it. If you've never seen
Yeah.
it, watch it from the beginning. Maybe not the first episode if you're whatever. I
Yeah.
guess.
I always say the third episode.
Well,
Start with the third episode.
But the good thing about an anthology is, like I was saying, if you're a real fan and you like the Easter eggs, you're good to go. But the truth is, because it is an anthology, it's very easy to watch certain episodes, not like them at all. I personally, I don't hate any episode. There's a couple episodes I don't like that much that I'm like, I probably won't watch it again.
Right.
I didn't mind watching it the first time. I personally hate any. I know people who hate, certain episodes, they just loathe them, wish they never saw them. But overall, there are episodes that you're gonna love, so it's really worth to dive into it. It really is, because it's hit or miss, but it's like watching movies. You're like, and that's what it is. Each story is technically its own story. You really don't have to see the other stuff to enjoy it if it's good, or to dislike it if it's bad. And that's about the best way to say it. So, and I know we've done it as a Nerdcessity before.
Speaking of Nerdcessity, I'm gonna touch very quickly on a show that we haven't talked about at all, which is True Detective season 3.
Woo!
You're right. I completely forgot about that.
Hey, you see it on the outline.
I didn't even see that coming.
In fairness, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones, and that's why I haven't thought about it. It's not because it's forgettable, because it's not. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, it's very good. A lot of people complained about first of all, these seasons take forever for the True Detective franchise order. It takes 2 to 3 years to get a season out. So after season 2 came out, a lot of people complained about it not being as good as the first season. And I think season 3 kind of brought that back. I think season 3 brought back the vibe that season 1 had going for it. That type of style, that the more grittiness to it. Season 2 was good, but it did not live up to season 1.
It was a different take. I mean, season 3 has the same base storyline where it's 2 detectives, their partnership, and the things.
One car.
It's 2 detectives, one car. Oh wow, what a bad reference. Those out there that get it, enjoy the laugh. But but for the most part, it's these, the relationship between these 2 detectives and their case and cases, and it's mainly just like the first season, one main case, and going through it. Where season 2, none of them were originally partners, and they were all kind of like they almost did more of like like the Magnolia, those films.
They did their own investigation, their separate thing, and then it kind of just came together at the end. But it was
and all connected.
It was different. I mean, I liked it. I still liked it, but it wasn't a True Detective, season. I don't think. I think season 3 really brought back the feel, especially between the 2 actual detectives. Like how they relate to each other and how their characters develop over time. I think that mirrors a lot. And I think it's even better, their relationship, than the first season detectives.
Oh yes, yes.
I'm not saying the story is better, but their relationship with those 2 characters I feel it flowed a little bit better.
Well, I think that, season 1, for those who haven't seen it, when you see it, you'll see that it's kind of like 2 guys that kind of were forced together and aren't really happy about it, and they're both 2 totally different people, and then it was the experience of a specific case that made them closer, where this one is more the natural evolution of partners. They've always been partners, and there is a relationship difference between the 2 of them, where one is more willing to the relationship than the other, and it has a good growth. And considering the 2 main characters, the 2 detectives, that's probably the best I've seen Stephen Dorff
Oh man,
Yes,
in anything,
by far,
in my opinion.
by far.
And I am now a huge. His last name's Ali. I'm not.
I know you were going for for Ali. I got it. I saw it.
It's
Yeah,
Mahershala.
I'm gonna go.
It's not that hard.
His last name's Ali.
It's not that hard.
I'm
You gotta take time. It's Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala.
I messed up the last name. Look at that.
Mahershala. I'm a huge fan of his, man. He can. The only reason I want to see Alita Warrior Angel, I haven't seen it yet. Even though I hear it's pretty good. That he's like him being the villain in that is the reason I want to see that. His performance in True Detective is just.
He should be the next Blade. He
would,
looks like he would be an awesome Blade.
He would though.
Yes. He's on the older side.
I think he pull it off.
For Blade. But I think there's a lot of things. I would tell you right now, he could easily play Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
Awesome.
That would be raw. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of characters that he could play would be raw. Oh, I'll be honest. If they do a new Spawn, they can go.
No, but
Spawn for sure. Spawn for sure.
He would be a good
he's
Spawn.
incredible.
No, he's actually really good in this season. But I think Steven Dorff was he was like the surprising. He was a surprise this season because I didn't think he could act that good.
That's the same way. That's the same way I felt for Colin Farrell, man. To be honest with you, in season 2.
Yeah,
in season 2. That's how I felt for Colin Farrell. Not that he's a bad actor. But he never really did it for me. And in True Detective, it was like, wait, this guy's actually acting. Like he's. I mean, that's how I felt.
No, and even Vince Vaughn. The problem with season 2, and I'm pretty sure that's the blanket complaint, is that it's a different style from season 1. It's a different story arc. And there's a lot of those things. What it does get from season 1 and season 3 that hasn't similar is great performances from all the actors. They dive deep into their characters, and so even Vince Vaughn was great in it. McAdams, but she's always good, But for Vince Vaughn, that was a different character. We usually don't see him in serious roles too often.
No,
and that's what he did.
Yeah, no, he was great in season 2. It didn't have the same.
True Detective 3, it was overall better than 2, but at the same time, the ending could have been better. That's just my opinion. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. But the thing with the ending is there's a lot of telling and not showing, which is usually in like film writing. I'm getting really nerdy right now, but in film writing, they usually want you to show what's going on or show what happened instead of people talking about it. And I think the last episode there was a lot of talking rather than showing, and that's the only. I think that's the only thing that hurt that episode. But overall, even the episode itself is still really good. It's just there was just a lot of explanation.
Oh yeah.
It's a
right
good
into
episode.
the end.
Yeah,
right
it's
into
just I felt a little unfulfilled also. Like I totally get what Yopis is saying. Because it was a good episode. Every episode was a good episode, but it being the last episode was a little bit unfulfilled.
Yeah.
If I felt a little unfulfilled.
I do got to say that, and I don't know if you guys even paid attention to it, but the score of this season, that eeriness, that very it felt like a horror movie sometimes, and you expect it kept you on an edge where it's like, is something gonna happen in this scene? But nothing really happens in that scene, but it keeps you that way.
And that's why I felt unfulfilled. Because it felt like there was so much buildup, and season 1, in my opinion, had a much bigger payoff. The way that it ended, that I was expecting an even bigger payoff from this one. It's not bad. Just again, the expectations get high because the whole season is so well that it kind of just like it goes straight up and then just stays. It didn't finish like on a higher note than it started the way season 1 did. And it's like, reading it as a book, I see the impact because it's really about the characters, especially the two main detectives, and you do get fulfillment in that.
Yeah,
in
where those two characters leave off at the end of the story it's very fulfilling. It's where it should be. Yeah. It ended the way it should be for those two characters.
It's the case. The case is the main case.
That's fulfillment.
Is the one you don't feel the over fulfillment. But I will tell you another thing. This season had so much like great dialogue, like that back and forth banter, and there's some dialogue in the interrogation rooms that just had me losing it because it's like like they just like they're so.
It's not even like real. It was just so natural. You know what I mean? Like there was no like hesitation.
Exactly.
Like the way they back and forth these interrogations were like it was just like it was natural. It was like these guys are true detectives for real. Like they actually are detectives and they're like doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why Steven Dorff is so surprising, because he pulled that off like if he was an actual cop.
Yes. No, and then all the characters that were being interrogated, same thing.
Yeah.
Like they said the things that people would say.
I mean, there's that
Like,
one scene with Steven Dorff and Scoot McNeary. Scoot McNeary is his name. There's I don't know if you guys remember that one scene. I don't want to give it away, but like both characters are breaking each other down, and that scene is like, wow, okay. That's crazy. Like what just happened. So I think that scene was really good this season. And there's a couple of things about this season that I think even did better than season 1, which is the some of like the transitions from the timelines.
Yes.
Some of the shots, they're like, whoa, that's cool how they did that. You know.
I love watching things like that. Like when a movie does that, when a show does that for me, I'm like, I'm in, I'm all in. And these people have it packed down. Like they know what they're doing. Like they're really good at it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, what I was saying, here's my but. They do that also in a way that it does the same thing season 1 did, where there's an undertone spiritual storyline.
Yeah.
To it, almost like a supernatural. Season 1 did that also. They didn't outright say that there's a supernatural thing kind of going on, but it hints that it's so strong. Yeah. Like it feels there's a supernatural essence to this, and the same thing with the transitions. They use that the same way in certain seasons. You're like, oh wow, like you really see like this is cool because it's almost, you know what I mean. And same thing, you're not gonna get that because it's not a sci-fi at all, but they just give you enough to intrigue.
Well, see, that's the thing about the season, because they throw that as like a supernatural thing, and with the score they kind of do like a horror movie score thing, but all of it is just playing on this guy's like memories and his like what he's going through.
Such a good actor. That's such a good performance.
So it's not necessarily like he's, it's not a supernatural thing. I mean, you could see it that way, but like it really has to do with that character's specific like trauma and like the condition that he's in.
And I still want to say that I think the ending that we thought that we were gonna get, I think would have made it better for me at least. The one that we were like when we were talking about it on our WhatsApp. Yeah, I think that ending would have fulfilled me.
Your WhatsApp chat.
WhatsApp.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think it was Westworld's is a show that does, or it exceeds your expectations. You start theorizing, it's going to do this, it's going to be that, and they actually do something up the ante, which most HBO shows do. Game of Thrones, talking about earlier. Same thing where like you start theorizing, and then you write on certain things, and they give you that fulfillment, and then they actually do even better than you were theorizing or even hoping for. And on this one, I think we theorized and hoped for more than we got, and that's where. I think MSK feels more content because he got what he wanted.
I think I did too.
On
one
specific part of the storyline, which is the partners. And unfortunately for myself and Yopi's, we wanted the fulfillment on the case, and we had a really good theory. And I still think it would have worked better. Yeah. It's worth watching. It's great. It's good. I agree that what we thought it would have been better.
But still, like you said, still a great show, still amazing, and still a worth watch and great necessity to bring up MSK.
Yeah.
2, I'm just gonna brush up on real quick so we can start closing this out.
Wrap it up.
I got
guys.
one that I know Yopi's has seen. We're gonna start wrapping it up. Umbrella Academy.
Oh man,
we'll talk about that more in depth in a later
episode.
Woo! That is a necessity. That is a nerd-cessity for sure. It will tickle all your nerd bones. You have superheroes, you have time travel, you have film wise MSK when he finally sees it is going to enjoy it because they do camera things in that and they do transition things in that, and it's just got a lot of everything, and you're just going to really enjoy it. It's the great cast, great characters. It's what X-Men wishes it was. It's
what X-Men hopefully will be.
Will be
now that Marvel. You know what? I honestly don't even think that, because just to basic, you think X-Men, but the focus is more on, instead of Because remember, when X-Men was written, it was, about, cultural problems and racism and things like that, and that's what they use as the metaphor for that is, mutants, they're different, so they're bad, and, you see how, the treatment of society against them is, so they focus more on that, and they kind of yada yada straight through what this show captures, which is, think about what it would be like for an individual as a kid to be told you're going to be a superhero, and what it's like to actually to train for that, and to be parented that way, to be parented by a leader, not a father, to be honed as a soldier, right, not as a child, and how that will mess you up, how that will mess you up and do things to you. And then they even go as far as to like how certain abilities will really mess up certain people, like certain powers, they sound like gifts and they're not, they're curses in a lot of ways. And they kind of touched on that with Rogue of all characters, and that's why they tried to throw that out there as the first character, when they did the X-Men movies, like, oh yeah, that's real. And they do touch on it a little bit now with Jean Grey, but they just go so much more into depth with that and how that affects their world and the world because of it. And it just has a totally crazy storyline, great actors, great characters. It's a must watch. It's a definite must watch. What is it, like 6-7 episodes? It's not very long. Hour each episode.
I think it's six episodes.
Yeah, excellent.
And I just want to throw out. I just want to throw out before we actually do. I got 2 more minutes, and it's Russian Doll. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah. Russian Doll was actually.
Really yes, that's right. We didn't.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That's another one that needs to be.
That was actually. That was one MSK watched before us and talked us into watching.
Damn, we should have talked about that. I would have got more things to talk about.
That's a good one. Yeah, Russian Doll is also another good one to see. And
that's it. Everybody got a little necessity up in there.
Homework.
Yeah.
A little bit of Ketchup. We'll definitely have a lot more coming up soon. We'll have Game of Thrones.
Real quick. I just wanted to say this real quick because we didn't get to talk about it. I'm not sold on that Toy Story trailer. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sold. I'm not showing a lot of other trailers either. Aladdin. I'm talking to you.
But yeah, that we might do a trailer episode. We just talk about different trailers.
Yeah, the summer season trailer, or the next one before April, because before April we have. In April we'll have Endgame. That trailer was great. That's looking good. That's looking like it's going to be what we expect it to be.
I think I need to wrap this up because I'm going to continue talking. I don't want to talk about this.
I know. Let's wrap this up. I didn't mean to throw that out there.
I think Hellboy. I think we'll have a bunch of trailers. Right. We could do a trailer episode. Stranger Things.
Oh man.
Oh God! Stop!
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do a mini episode of just trailers.
Do it trailer style.
All right.
Well. That's it, I guess. This is Omega saying peace.
MSK, peace out.
Yo, peace. Peatus.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Fanatically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.
What was our last episode? So we know.
Well, if you don't remember it.
No, I know a year. I'm not saying when. What was the topic of our last episode?
A year. It was. I think it was in the beginning of last year.
Another Ketchup, I think.
It was not a Ketchup.
Ketchup, because we're never.
It was probably
we're never on time.
It was
probably a Ketchup episode.
Yeah, this is the Ketchup 2019. But I don't know what was our last episode.